very, very, very high stakes. And I thought about it, and yeah, it is. Things go wrong,
Mhm.
and everything's a priority, everything's urgent. And I've always looked at it that you can react two ways. You can go all headless chicken
Yep.
and everything's a disaster, and how are we going to, or the way I've always looked at it is like, okay, we've got a problem, we've identified it. How are we going to solve it? Okay, we've got some options. We're going to try this one. Off we go. Sometimes it works, sometimes we have to come back. But whatever it is, the oh my God bit, that's for further down the road. For now, we're solving it. So it
Mhm.
is that self-regulation, sort of under pressure, and being able to cope with that without adding to other people's pressure.
Yeah.
Discretion and judgment. I mean, I don't have to say much about this. You will know all the secrets.
Yeah.
You will know everything, but it's not just about keeping the secrets. It's about knowing when to share something, because it is really, really important that you're not just taking it in. Sometimes you need to pull a lever or press a button somewhere else and use that information.
Yeah.
And the last one is the being able to move between going into a board meeting and having a very, very tough board meeting, coming out, walking straight into dealing with some sort of interpersonal disaster that's happening between two co-workers, and then someone say, oh, can you just give me your view on this, and it says a high level strategy again. It's that switching between different things, high level, low level, in between, and still being able to keep the coherence across what's going on. So for Rachel and I, those were the core things that a chief of staff needs.
Yeah.
Everything else you can learn.
Yes.
You can learn everything else. All of the other skills that you may see out there, people saying, oh, come and do this course, come and do. That's the icing on the cake. If you
Mhm.
don't have that core wiring, it's not going to be beneficial for you to go into that role, because it is absolutely essential in our view that to succeed, you need those four things.
Yeah. Awesome. Uh, there's so much that you said in that. One of the things that you and I spoke a lot about, and we see it all over LinkedIn, is chief of staffs have the title, but they don't have the authority, influence over authority. And you were quite passionate about your opinion because you went, "Oh my goodness, when I see this." So
Okay, so as far as I am concerned, chief of staff is a leadership role. You may not have the direct reports. You may
mhm,
have direct reports. I do actually have direct reports. They sort of come and go. You are the place where something goes when there's no other natural home, and you deal with that, and then it goes, you find the home for it. So at the moment, I do have direct reports. Um, I sit on the SLT. I am a member of the senior leadership team, the same as all the rest of the C-suite. My voice is just as valid. So when anyone says you don't have authority, I'm thinking why? And it's usually a couple of things. It's usually that the role hasn't been scoped, you haven't been given the mandate. It's not the chief of staff's fault. It's often the organization and the leader, and a lack of knowledge, experience of what the role could be. I saw something. This is what we were talking about the other day, is of on LinkedIn saying um, the chief of staff title doesn't give you authority, and I sat with that, and I was just like, really? I mean, one, the clues in the title, it says chief.
right.
I mean, I'm not sure how much clearer that could be. And it's almost like there's this narrative going of undermining any sort of leadership and authority that a chief of staff can have. Now, can I go into a room and say, this has to happen today, as a CEO would do? No, I use my authority in a different way. And that's where I
Right.
think the misconception with the influence comes in. And I will
Mhm.
come back to trust as well. So I was thinking about this question. And something someone said to me a while back when they were giving some feedback on working with me. And they said they would see me coming across the office with a mischievous little smile, and they would know that I was going to ask them to do something that they probably didn't want to do. And then they said they always found themselves saying yes and being quite happy to do it without even realizing it had happened. And they said it's almost like some sort of magic. And I'm like, well, I wish I had magic powers, but I don't. It's not. It's trust. It was trust. It was trust that they knew that if I was asking them to do something, one, I would have identified that they were the best person to do it. Two, it was necessary because I wouldn't be asking them to do something that was not worthwhile doing. And three, even if I couldn't explain for various reasons why it needed to happen, there would be a good reason that it needed to happen. So they said yes. And this was consistent. So did I go over and could I have gone over and said, you have to do this now? No, I would never have done that anyway. Even if I had that level of authority, it is, for me, that's not leadership, that's dictatorship. And no, but it is the influence, and influence is not sort of, sometimes I see it and it's described as this sort of insipid thing. It's not. It's trust, it's respect. It is knowing that you can go and have that conversation with someone and they will listen to you.
Wow.
I'll give you another example of influence. Politicians, governments, other than a few people, maybe the president, but for us in the UK, no one has absolute power.
Mm,
Everything has to be done by influence. Influence is not a try and be nice and try and persuade people. It is trust, respect, all of those things that give you then the authority. And a chief of staff has and should have authority to be able to make things happen. I do
yeah.
feel really, really strongly about that. And if anyone listening is not feeling that they've got that authority, I would really, really recommend sitting down and thinking about why.
Mm,
Is it that you're not respected? And that's something that's easy to work on because being likable is not the same as being respected.
right.
Trust me, there's a lot of people who don't like me, but they still respect me. I can't believe I
That's
just admitted that.
very likable, but
But it is, or is it that some other people are undermining
yeah.
your influence and authority? Because that's a different thing again.
Mhm.
But a chief of staff, and I know I put this in a post. We do not do the calendar. We might input into it. We are not assistants. We are not support in the way that that support is described.
Right.
We are leaders with authority from the CEO or whoever the leader is that you're reporting into. And then we use influence to
Mhm.
exert that authority.
Yeah. Thank you. You and I want to go down the route because you talk about trust a lot.
Yeah, it's
And
really important.
it's super. How do you go about establishing that trust? Because I know that I've got some thoughts about it, but I would love to hear how do you go about with either a new leader or an existing leader that you're asked to work with? Like, how do you start to build that?
It takes time is the first thing. You
Hmm.
are not going to walk in and have trust on day one, day
Right.
30, possibly even not day 90 or 100. It
Hmm.
takes time and it's lots of different small incremental things. So the consistency is key. If you
Yeah.
say you're going to do something, it's done. If someone tells you something in confidence, it stays in confidence. If you give your judgment on something because you've thought about it and you know it's the right answer, because there's also needs to be trust in what you're saying and the opinions you give. It turns out to be consistently in the
Mm.
right direction. So it is lots of small incremental parts.
Yeah.
And there's for me, there was 5 aspects of trust,
Yeah.
and they all fed into it. You can't have one and then forget any of the others, but that consistency across.
Hmm.
And then remembering that it takes time to build the trust,
Yeah.
but it doesn't take much to break it.
Hmm.
And I always describe trust as like having a vase, an antique vase. And if you break it, you can glue it back together, but the cracks will still be there. The
Hmm.
trick is not breaking it in the first place. You can have little minor little bumps on it. You can get past those, but it's not breaking it. But trust also works both ways.
Hmm.
And I've always found that I can gain trust
Hmm.
at the same time as being given trust.
Yeah.
So it works that way of it needs to be that partnership if you can get that partnership. And I remember, and I think I told you this, that when I started working in my political chief of staff role, I had a conversation. It was our first conversation, and I won't say it was an interview because it wasn't an interview. I'd been sort of seconded over to go and work with this person. And I said to them, I said, I'll never lie to you. I will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Hmm.
I said, I will not tell you everything because you don't need to know everything, but I will tell you what is important and what you absolutely need to know. And that was the absolute basis of the relationship. They didn't need to know every single detail,
Sure.
but if something was happening, and the part that's actually funny, I didn't tell you the other day, was we were out somewhere and I'd had a message come through from some of the senior departmental advisors. When I said, "Oh, what about such and such?" on my phone, and he answered the question. I replied, and he's laughing. He said, "It's ridiculous." He said, "You're the only person who brings me the. They always send everything to you that they're too scared to come and ask me themselves." Because and that's the thing, it actually it's if you have fear of delivering bad news, and trust me, I used to have to deliver a lot of bad news,
Yes.
um and they have an understanding that the bad news is not, it's not shoot the messenger. They know it's not you causing the bad news. I think that's important. You should never fear giving the bad as well as the good,
Yeah.
coming back in, and they ask for the feedback of say, how did that go? And it is not helpful for them to say, oh, it was wonderful, it was brilliant.
Right.
Most leaders are surrounded by sycophants. They don't need another one. They need someone go, do you know what, that bit didn't hit well, or you went up and you didn't say the thing that you really needed to say in that meeting. So it's really, really important that you can have that courage to give the bad
Hmm.
news. And the other aspect, which I think you're going to ask, is to be able to tell them when they're wrong.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Be
I,
able to go into that room, shut the door, and say, "You are being an idiot."
hmm
And I will admit, there's usually for me there would be a few swear words in there. It would be, "What the are you playing at?" Um, because no one will tell them what they
Yeah.
need to. If you go down this route, it's going to cause these problems. Now, sometimes they'll still choose to go down that route, and that's fine.
Right.
But they've had the information. And when it has caused those problems, you can just sit there and go, yeah, I told you. No, I'm joking. You don't say, I told you so, but they're thinking it, which then builds on the trust for the judgment and everything moving on. Um, but yeah, there you go.
I like that. And I really want to kind of double down on this point that you've brought up, Rachel had brought up, Chris has brought up, like all of my speakers, guests have brought up. Trust takes time. You're not going to be a chief of staff in 6 months. You're
Oh my gosh,
not
no, no, no. Do you
taking
know what?
time. Yeah.
I was trying to remember, and I know what was said. I was sat having a lunch meeting and they were discussing something, and he said, "I'll trust you with my life," because I was proposing something. And
Wow.
and my initial response was, "Well, that's effing stupid, isn't it?" And he said, "Okay, okay." He said, "I'll take it back a little bit because you might actually be the person that kills me sometime. I will trust you with my professional life." And I was trying to think when that happened,
Mm,
because it was not, I can guarantee it was not in the first 6 months. That
right.
takes time. And when it
Yeah.
says, and again, you see that, oh, show your impact in 90 days and you've got to be delivering from day one and all of this. When I go into a new role, and this doesn't matter whether it's a board role, a chief of staff role, or anything,
Hmm.
I am almost silent. I mean, I say to people, enjoy it. It's the quietest you are going to get from me,
Hmm.
because all I am doing is absorbing everything. I am absorbing the organization. I am absorbing the people, the interactions, and getting as much information as possible. Because if I go in at like a bull in a china shop and
Hmm.
go, we need to fix this, we need to fix this, and we need to fix this, I don't have all the other historical context and the
Right.
organizational context that means that that wouldn't work. And it's a bit of the reason why I don't always think that consultants are the best chief of staff, because they will go into a role and they will diagnose and as a consultant and go, right, you need to do this, 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 and this framework. And then they leave. What they don't have to do is actually implement it, deal
Mm,
with the egos and the different aspects, or they don't have the knowledge to go, do you know what? We did try that and it didn't work. But if we actually tweak it a little bit and make it like this, it will work for our organization, because it's not
right.
a one size fits all. You can take the core of it
Yeah.
and then make it fit. So that's really important.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to grab one of the questions that we got here from, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, Mala. And Mala asked, how can one go about suggesting the chief of staff role to a CEO in a large organization that needs it, but does not necessarily have it in their structure or see its importance yet? Ooh, that's a good question. I've got
Oh,
some.
that is a good question.
Yeah.
That is a good question. I'm going to pause because I don't want to just give some random off the top of my head. I have seen this, and I think it works best if it's not just the CEO who sees the
Mm,
benefit of it.
mhm.
And I would also say that it can come from multiple sources. It can come from other members of the C-suite. It can come from their executive assistant. It can come from you showing the benefit of the role by acting up
Yeah.
and delivering on that role. But it also comes down to how much the CEO is open. If they're the
Mhm.
type of CEO who is really, really traditional and goes, I know what I'm doing and this is how we're going to do it, then yeah, you might be flogging
Tough.
a dead horse. Yeah. But if it's someone who is absolutely open to new ideas, improving how organization and their organization works, and it is what is open to trying things, I think what I would do is actually put together a full proposal. This is
Right.
what it is. These are the benefits of it. These
Hmm.
are the possible downfalls of it. All of it. Put a proper proposal together, with the return on investment, with all of those things, and and present it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's so. I'm going to take a page out of your book, or something that you said earlier about, to answer this question also is ask some more questions. Because if there's a need, why is there a need? What is going on in that organization that now you're thinking there needs to be a chief of staff? And then another point that you made that again I want to jump on is try to get consensus. You've got one person, which is you. What if you've got other members who are potentially going to be your peers also saying, I understand the need? Because once you've got a principal, a CEO that has worked with the chief of staff who is effective, they want to keep that role in place forever.
Oh,
Forever.
it's a role that has the ability to have huge positive impact on an organization, from a startup to a huge multinational and everything in between. The risks are, you either have a role that's not scoped as a chief of staff, a leader who is not willing to give the things that a chief of staff needs,
Yep.
and then maybe bringing someone on or promoting someone that doesn't have the wiring to be a chief of staff. And
Right.
actually, Rachel did a great thing in our newsletter this week. Gosh, I don't know where the time goes. On setting up that role and answering those questions on a job description before you've even thought about hiring one. I would recommend everyone have a look at it, because
Yeah.
it's really, really important. I'm sure Blessing can share the link to the website
Absolutely.
and the newsletter, but I would really, really recommend signing up for it. And I'm going to do a shameless plug
Go
that
for
actually the opening offer of $99 a year closes today. So get in there quick. It is more than worth $99 a year, and you will get everything that we are putting out.
it. That's awesome. I'm going to just share one quick slide and then I'm going to turn the time back over to you because I do want you, you made a shameless plug and I want you to make a longer shameless plug. But just a reminder for everyone that these sessions happen every month. I am going to have Susie come back, and I'm probably just going to have Susie and Rachel come back on one of these because these two are so well connected, and their perspectives provide us with such a broad look at the chief of staff role. So keep that keep connected to me so you can find that out. These happen every month. Next month we do have somebody on the calendar, Kim Casey. She's been here before. She shares fantastic insights on the chief of staff role from a financial and a budgetary perspective. So for those of you who are like, I don't like math, me, but I've got to deal with it. She gives you some wonderful pointers. You will also see that in the chat, Blessing has shared a connection, Susie's LinkedIn connection, as well as an opportunity for you to meet with me so we can talk some more about the chief of staff role, the questions that you might have. Susie, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to give you the next 2 minutes to go ahead and plug. The thing I
Oh,
love.
can right, I will, but I just saw a question about someone asking about chief of staff to three chiefs and the first chief of staff of the company. Oh my gosh, I do have, message me on LinkedIn. I can give you an answer to that one.
Yeah.
Right. Shameless plug. So Cool and Gold Group. So far, we have our briefing, which is a must-have for any CEO, any chief of staff, anyone thinking about going into as chief of staff, or anyone in leadership or looking at leadership. It's why, just think leadership.
Yes.
We have the chief of staff readiness assessment, which quite a few people have gone through. It is comprehensive. It gives you the answers you need to hear. It doesn't tell you what you want to hear. So going back to what I said to that person before, sometimes you need to hear the truth, and sometimes the truth will be it's not the right role for you. It also could be, actually, you are really set up for this, go for
Yeah.
it. Every assessment comes with self-development options of what you can do to actually help address some of your areas. They're not weaknesses, they're never weaknesses, they're just areas that you might want to reflect on. So chief of staff readiness assessment, really powerful, sets you up for the future and gives you the options and the information you need to be able to be the best chief of staff you can. The next thing that's going to come out is huge. It is probably the thing I am proudest of in my life. I'm not going to have, even I can't do it in 30 seconds, but just watch this space, sign up to the newsletter, and just trust me. I say you can't do trust in an hour. No, you can't. It is worth it. And I'm just so excited about it.
Awesome. Thank you, folks. So Susie is an expert in her space. She offers services, and you notice I offer services. And the thing that I have loved about the people that I have had an opportunity to meet is that we work in collaboration and not competition. I have learned from her in this in our brief stint right now, and even in our conversation that we had previous. I will continue to learn from her. We can work in collaboration. We can help continue to elevate this role. So reach out to her, reach out to me. So I've signed up for their things, they've signed up for my things. We want to make sure that this role um, is the empowering role that it was set up to be. And that you feel like we use these words, force multiplier, but you really are a force multiplier. It's not just a cute word that you can put on your resume.
Anne Marie didn't see my LinkedIn post, did she?
I'm gonna have to go and check it out. But it's amazing. And so, Susie, thank you. Despite the fact
Thank
that
you.
technical issues, we're gonna have you come back because there's
Brilliant.
more that
Really look forward to
we
it.
need. So, everybody, thank you for joining us wherever you are, whether it's the start of your weekend. Have a fantastic weekend. Maybe you're already in your weekend. I hope you've got some great plans. Um, there we go. The Cool and Gould newsletter. There you go, folks. And we will make sure that you've got access to that. You'll get a little follow up from this call. And you've got Susie's LinkedIn. That's been posted a couple of times. So if you are jumping at the bits to get access to that newsletter, go to her LinkedIn because it's there also. But thank you, everyone. And again, have a fantastic rest of your day.